Hello and welcome to another episode of Buyer Fireside Chat brought to you by Global Sources. I'm your host, Megham Hardwaj, and I have with me Stephen Selikoff, who is back on our show. Um, I don't know, the 10th time or probably more. Hi, Stephen. How are you doing?
Good. Hello, Megla. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, Stephen, you're in Las Vegas and you're doing a workshop there. How interesting.
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas doing a how to sell to retailers workshop for a couple of days, and then we're going to the one of the biggest events for retailers to buy their products that go on their shelves. So it's we've got 10 people here, and uh, it's Las Vegas, so it's lots of excitement, and I am super thrilled about seeing some of my students in person for the first time, which is very, very cool. I miss it. I miss traveling. I miss seeing people in person and so on. And I'm hoping that 2022 sees us get somewhat back to normal.
Absolutely, yeah. Likewise. Okay, and today we're going to be talking about what you need to do right now to save money after Chinese New Year. So, this is going to be a very interesting topic. Of course, everyone wants to save money, and this is relevant for all types of importers, whether you're an Amazon seller, e commerce seller, or a brand retailer sourcing products from India. So, super excited about this topic. But before we get into the topic, I just want to tell everybody that we have a special announcement. Global Sources Summit is back. The Global Sources Summit that has been hosted in Hong Kong since April 2016. It's one of the very first Amazon e-commerce conferences in the world. And of course, now we're doing it virtually. So we are back in February. And we've got a major change for the Global Sources Summit this time. So instead of hosting two summits throughout the year and covering all sorts of topics at every summit, we are focusing on specific aspects of product development at each summit. So the one that's coming up in February focuses on sourcing, logistics, and quality control. And then we'll do another one in July that will have a separate topic. Another one in October will have a separate focus. So yeah, more targeted, more focused, more in-depth content. And I think it should be a lot of fun. So what you guys need to do is register for the summit. And I'm just going to show you the URL over here. This is where you need to go. It's free to attend for everybody. We're going to live stream it on Global Sources social media channels. So head over to globalsources.com/summit to register for the summit now. And of course, Stephen has a presentation. In fact, Stephen has two presentations this time, two sessions. So quite interesting. All right. So, Stephen, so let's get started with our topic. So we're going to be talking about what you need to know, right? What you need to do right now to save money after Chinese New Year. So why is this important and what do people need to do?
Well, China, most Chinese companies base their fiscal calendar on the lunar year, on the Chinese New Year. So when they come back from Chinese New Year, they are going into their new financial year, like businesses all over the world. They set their targets, what they want to achieve during the year. And on the financial side of that, most of them will say they want to make more money. How do they make more money? Well, lots of ways, and particularly raising prices. So after Chinese New Year, you will get a message from your supplier, factory, or trading company, and they'll say, well, prices have increased. Prices have increased because of uh, exchange rates. Prices have increased because raw goods cost more. Prices have increased because of whatever. Um, I've been doing this for a long, long time. You will hear that after every Chinese New Year. Just because you hear it and everyone else hears it from their suppliers doesn't mean you have to accept it. It's just an opening for negotiation. What you need to do now is get a price from your supplier, get a quote, reaffirm what price you're doing right now. And then in 4 weeks' time, when they come back from Chinese New Year and they tell you, oh, we have to increase the price, because of exchange rates. That's what's going on. I guess that was the 2 years ago. That was the big thing. Exchange rates, we need to increase. Um, no, you pull up the exchange rates and show this is the exchange rates. Today is January 20th or 21st, depending on where you are in the world. This is the exchange rate on January 21st. This is the exchange rate on February 21st. Look, it hasn't changed. We're not changing what we're paying because the exchange rate hasn't. It's okay to say no. Same thing. Oh, the raw materials. You can Google a lot of raw material costs. But if you don't have anything now, if you don't have a recent price quote when you have that discussion, then you're comparing what is the exchange rate February 21st to where it was in August or July or so on. And yeah, there's going to be changes. And you really don't have a leg to stand on, or the changes in raw costs, or maybe a flea farted in Lithuania. They'll come up with a reason. You don't have to accept it, and the best way to protect yourself right now is to get a price quote. And if you do this, and I have no idea how large this audience is, but tell your friends to do it as well. But with everyone who's watching and all of their friends, and then their friends tell their friends, even if that comes out to only 5% or 3% or 1% of the people who are importing from China, the other 90% or 95% or 99% are all going to say, oh yeah, prices have gone up. My supplier told me the same thing. It's a logistical fallacy. When everyone is told the same wrong thing, they'll all support the wrong thing as being right. Don't fall for it. I've been doing this for many years, and frankly, once I started doing this, I didn't have to worry about the typical increase after Chinese New Year. So absolutely, if you don't have a very recent price quote, get it now. Hold it in your back pocket or your shirt pocket, post it on your whiteboard, and then when Chinese New Year comes, when they come back after Chinese New Year and they say, oh, we've got to increase the prices because of so and so, you're prepared to say, nah, it didn't. Or if it did, maybe it's 2% or 3%, not a 20% change. That's
Right.
information that'll save you money right now.
Right. And how do you think, Stephen, the restrictions and all of the supply chain issues rising out of COVID, how is all of that affecting, um, prices and logistics costs, of course, are high, but overall, like raw material costs, or how is all of that affecting production costs? And is that something that suppliers can also say that, hey, it's COVID and there are supply chain issues and we can't find raw materials and prices are high? I mean, is that really happening, or again, is that something that they're going to
It depends.
use
It
as?
depends. It depends on the product. Um, there are, for example, if you have a product made of nylon or polyester, that's dependent on petroleum costs. They've been relatively stable, um, but they may still say they have to go up because of raw material costs, or we have to go up because of COVID. We have to go up because of transportation costs, shipping costs, the government's making us do something because of uh, the electricity cutbacks that occurred a few months back. All of these reasons, doesn't matter. If you have a price quote from January 21, and here they are in February 21, telling you that the world is completely different, that 30 days earlier there was no COVID and now there's COVID and we have to raise the prices. You say no. You have the price in you. This was only 30 days. This was 3-4 weeks ago. Nothing's changed since then. That's the price we want to go with. The more that you're dealing with a factory, the more that you have a product that is differentiated, the easier that's going to be. If you have a product that's purely white label, you have a charging port, and it's the same as any other. This is white label because there is no label on it. If this is hot right now in Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, or if it's been mentioned some TikTok and everyone wants to buy it, you can be guaranteed that there's a lot of other people selling it and looking to purchase it from your supplier. Your supplier knows that they can dig in their heels, they can be hard, they can say, nope, the prices have gone up, it's $1 more per unit. And if you say no and walk, they've got 25 people behind you, all selling the exact same thing. But if you've differentiated it, here's one. If you've differentiated it and you have 2 plugs and a plug that folds up and whatever else this has on it, a little light that's still lit for some reason, it's different. You're the only one doing this. There are not 25 people behind you wanting to buy the same thing. It's easier for you to stand your position and say, no, it's the price. You just gave it to us. Same thing. It's harder when they know that they can push you and they can push for higher prices knowing there's people behind you. So among all the other business reasons that you want to differentiate, this is another business reason that you want to differentiate. It gives you more leverage with your supplier. So,
right.
Coming back to your question, none of those mattered because you have a price and all of those things are existing now. They're going to exist after Chinese New Year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks, things are not going to change significantly. And okay, so what else do we need to do now? Is there anything else? This is number one, get a price quote for your product. And this could be an existing product that you're sourcing. What if you're sourcing an existing product and when you go to place a new order after Chinese New Year, they say that, oh, now the prices have increased. So this is for new products that you're going to start sourcing after Chinese New Year and as well as existing products, right?
Correct. If you've got existing products, you've been paying for it for a while, make sure that your latest price quote is now, not from 4, 5, 6 months ago. I mean, if you bought a whole bunch of stuff in July and then you waited for it to be shipped over here and it got at the end of October because of this horrible transportation system, and you sold it out for Q4, you're looking to reorder now. Maybe you're waiting, you're not sure. Ask for that quote now because that's the one you're going to use as your reference quote. If it's brand new and you just have prototypes, ask for a quote based on those prototypes. So when you come back, they're not going to say, hey, before Chinese New Year, it was $14 and now after Chinese New Year, it's going to be $20. No, if you have the quote, you have the quote.
Right.
It's the simplest thing ever.
Okay, makes sense. So guys watching, if you have any questions about this or any other questions related to sourcing from China or product development or selling in retail, type your questions in the comment section and Stephen will be able to answer your questions. Okay, what else, Stephen? Is there anything else that we need to do before Chinese New Year?
Yeah, you need to take a look at your inventory levels and decide when you need your next shipment to come. Because right now, particularly right before Chinese New Year, even if there was not the nightmare of shipping that we're going through right now, prices would go up slightly. Everyone's rushing to get their products out before Chinese New Year. And if you look at your inventory and you can realistically say, let's wait until after Chinese New Year, that's going to drop back down. It's not going to drop all the way back down to where it used to be or anything else. It's not even going to take its major drops, but you're not looking at the bump and the difficulties that you're having right now. So do a little bit of analysis on your stock, on your inventory, and see if you can wait till after Chinese New Year. And then just looking forward to 2022. Chinese New Year is going to end around February 17th, February 8th for some people, February 23rd for others. But by the time you're looking at the middle of March, particularly coming towards April, we should see, in general, price drops. First, there'll be price drops on the spot market. Your wholesalers will follow, and those are good leading indicators that the actual shipping prices will start coming down. So now I'm saying that we have no idea what's around the corner. We've learned that. We don't know what's going to happen in China during the Olympics. We don't know what's going to happen in China during the Chinese New Year. If something terrible happens and all of manufacturing stops like it did at the beginning of COVID, if anyone remembers that far back, shipping prices dropped dramatically. So we don't know what's going to happen, but in general, you can predict that this pre-Chinese New Year bump will go away. And then as we get into 2022, there's all sorts of indicators saying that we're going to start seeing prices come down.
Right. So, is there anything else apart from this?
Now, number one things right now is see if you can save money by not shipping immediately and get a quotation on your price now.
Okay. So take note of this, everybody watching. Get a price quote from your supplier now. And this is because usually after Chinese New Year, they will say that prices have increased or production costs have increased for various reasons, and they will try to quote you a higher price. So get a price quote now, and then you can hold them to that price right after Chinese New Year.
Yeah,
Sometimes
if
also,
you and I were
yeah.
doing business together, and I just said to you, Megla, the price on whatever you're buying is going to go up, you're going to question that. So I would never say that. I would say, Megla, the price is going up because, I don't know, you like special eggs, and the chickens that make those special eggs are now more expensive to raise and to keep warm and happy and healthy, and they get cuddled every night, and chicken cuddler prices have gone up. I don't know. I'm going to give you a realistic sounding reason. I'm not going to just say the prices have gone up. But the reality is chicken cuddler prices probably didn't go up. I'm just going to say it because it sounds better when I say that. So, which is a great story. Can I share a story about chickens?
Yes, I love your
Okay.
stories.
So this is from one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs I know. She was able to get her hands on a lot of products that were made for chihuahuas. You know, chihuahuas, cute little dogs,
Yeah.
little outfits and stuff like that. And she realized that chihuahua outfits. Now, this is. I think everyone should Google this if you have not Googled this. There are people who raise chickens, who dress their chickens in little outfits. This is a thing. This is a thing. If you did not know this is a thing, you now know this is a thing. And she had all of these excess chihuahua outfits that she got at a great price, and she turned around and marketed them as chicken outfits and made a bunch of money. And
Wow.
it's if you're watching this, take a quick moment and Google chicken outfits, and then come back, because I don't want you lost in the world of looking at chicken outfits. That's what entrepreneurs do. They see opportunities. So the opportunity now is to make sure that you keep your price good.
Right. So the other thing that you wanted to talk about is also how to get preferential treatment from Amazon to help your sales in 2022. And what does that entail?
So, okay, let's see if I eat my words a year from now, because this is my predictions for 2022. Um, Talk about Amazon for a moment. Amazon has what they call their leadership principles. When you work at Amazon, particularly as you move up in stature at Amazon, everything that you're doing, every proposal you make, every project that you run, um, has to go through certain protocols. One of the most fascinating ones is that you present it as a news release, as if it's already happened. But the one that's really strict and really important is that every proposal, every process has to align with their 14 leadership principles. I've been lucky enough to be recruited by them twice. Each time, the recruiter discreetly sent me the list of their 14 leadership principles. Know these, memorize them, bring them into every question that you get asked. Um, That's how important it is. Last year in July, they changed the leadership principles. They added two more. First time since 2015. They added one about how they treat their employees, and they added one about Amazon being a better steward to be more aware of the environment and the future of the earth. This is huge. These principles drive the decisions and the policies at Amazon. And they added a leadership principle saying, be aware of the environment, of the earth, be friendly, green, all of that. So that's one thing to put in your mind. Here's another thing, completely different. I'm in Seattle. We had a sports arena called Key Arena. They lifted up the roof. They dug down. They made it bigger, modernized it, everything else, brought the roof back down. That's where our hockey team plays, the Kraken. One day we hope to get a basketball team back again, and our basketball team will play there. And Amazon has the naming rights to the arena, the Amazon Arena. But no, it's not the Amazon Arena. It could be Prime Arena. It's not Prime Arena. With all the money they have to spend on naming rights, they named it. Does anyone know what it's named? See if anyone can pop up here with what it's named.
Anybody watching, do you know what it's named? So this is in Seattle.
This is in Seattle. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what it's named. They named it Climate Pledge Arena.
Oh, interesting.
Big letters up on top. Climate Pledge Arena.
And no Amazon branding.
Not Amazon, Climate Pledge Arena. And now you look at Climate Pledge Arena, you look at them adding a 16th leadership principle to the 14 that they had before that says, be environmentally aware, be green, this has got to be a major driver of your own products. And then you look at their, I think they call it Climate Pledge or Climate Friendly Program. Do you know what the program I'm talking about?
Yes. I think I've heard about it.
I think they actually call it Climate Pledge.
Yeah, I think it's Climate Pledge.
So this is interesting. If a product has someone who's selling that if a niche has a product that someone is selling that fits and is recognized by their Climate Pledge program, when somebody filters, and you can go pull up Amazon on your computer, look at the filters on the left. Now it's not for everything, because not every niche has products that are registered yet as Climate Pledge. But let's say I'm at a hotel, so I'll say bed sheets. Pull that up. I'm pretty sure there are some that have Climate Pledge products that meet the Climate Pledge criteria, and you'll see that compared to where that was a year ago, they're moving that up on the rank. So now, if that little checkbox that says it's you're looking for products that are climate friendly, Climate Pledge, is higher than the number of stars and reviews, higher than the brand. It's one of the top 3, 4, 5 choices for filtering out people's results. That's Amazon living to their new principle, their new leadership principle. They're putting their money where their mouth is. So we know all of this is happening. That's the background to my prediction is, if you have a product that is climate friendly, that meets the Climate Pledge program, then we're going to see a lot more than just having that filter go up. I am convinced that during 2022, the algorithm is going to be tweaked to give more exposure to those products that are climate friendly, that there might be more than just the little leaf symbol. There may be more symbols and designations that will show up there. There may even be, a special, display, a frame or something like that. But Amazon is going to push in every way they can climate-friendly products. So if you're doing a product, we can go back to this. It's not very climate-friendly, but if you have it in a big box where there's lots of wasted packaging, Amazon's not going to like that. If you show that you have, minimum package waste, which is one of the things that they look for when you apply to that program, um, they're going to like that. If you can show that it's made from recycled plastic, there we go. Amazon's Climate Pledge Friendly program. If you can show maybe it's made from recycled plastic or something else that's going to make it climate friendly, get into that program, and you're going to be treated nicer right now, but going forward, I think we're going to see more exposure made to those products that are in Amazon's Climate Pledge Friendly program. So,
Right. And in
and if
order
I'm wrong,
to
I'll know that a year from now.
and in order to apply for this program, you have to, first of all apply to be accepted or for your products to be approved in this program, right? And do you know anything about the process and what the process looks like? And is it per product or is it for an entire brand?
No, I do know that it's per product.
Okay.
And I know that a few people have applied, have had to reapply, so it's not an automatic given. That tells me that there's someone at some level making choices. When I looked at it, I'm trying to remember what the UI was, but I believe they talked about it was either it was 4/4 or 3/3. So there's either 6 or 8 elements that they look for. And then you actually have to submit, and it takes a little while. They will look at it and review it and approve it. But go for it. Go for it, because if you are approved and you can get that badge, it's going to be wonderful for you in 2022.
Right. And so this, of course, applies to eco-friendly products. So maybe organic cotton or, sustainable products like recycled plastic, for
Right.
example,
Bamboo
or
is a great one.
bamboo, fabric-based products. It could be any of these sort of products. Could it also be just for packaging? So let's say I do have a product that is maybe not eco-friendly, like a stainless steel bottle, but maybe the packaging is
I know
eco-friendly.
packaging is one of the elements that they call out
Okay.
in their program, but I have not applied for the program myself. My product's made with TPR. That's horrible for the environment.
Yeah.
Um, but I do know that that it's called out as one of the elements, so it's worth looking into. Now, let's just stay on that for a second.
Yeah.
If you do have, as part of your own company mission statement, if your own vision includes being more climate friendly, and you have a product that is not inherently climate friendly, don't forget that there are things you can do. You can use recycled packaging. That helps a little bit. You can buy, you can buy green credits in some cases. You can make sure that every time somebody purchases your product, that a certain percentage of it goes towards um, making your carbon footprint less. I mean, all of these are important. They probably won't get you anywhere with Amazon's Climate Pledge Friendly program, but if this is something that's important to you, and I know it's important to a lot of us, there are opportunities just to put your money where your mouth is. And anyone who wants to do that, I really encourage strongly.
Right. That makes sense. And yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's just so much awareness nowadays among consumers of, eco-friendly, sustainable products. And I think consumers are also willing to pay more if they are sure that the product is actually sustainable and eco-friendly. In fact, there was a survey that I was reading a couple of weeks ago, and one of the issues that consumers said they had was that they weren't really sure if a product was actually eco-friendly or actually sustainable, and that's why sometimes they hesitate to buy something that claims to be eco-friendly. But I think if Amazon has put their badge or if their seal of approval behind a product, then that of course gives a lot of credibility to the product, and it will definitely go a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And interestingly, I read something that the people who do want to pay more for a product like that are people who are younger, not us old folks, not
Mm.
us boomers. We screwed it up, you know. It's the younger generations are saying, let's do better. And absolutely take advantage of that and do a good thing along the way. That's great.
Awesome. Great advice, Stephen. Guys, let us know, what do you think about this program? Have you heard about it before? Would you apply for it? Tell us in the comments what you think about Amazon's climate pledge friendly program. It's quite a mouthful. Okay, that's very interesting, Stephen. And then you also wanted to talk about protecting IP. So, what are some of the things that people can do to protect their IP that they're probably not doing right now?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more people in Facebook groups being aware of IP,
Hmm.
um, and that's good. First, the bad news. In the most cases, if your IP is being ripped off, um, it's other sellers who see that your product's selling well, and they're sending products to suppliers in China saying, "Can you reverse engineer this? Can you do this?" They're looking up on Panjiva or Jungle Scout has a tool to find out from public shipping records what factories are producing it, and they're contacting the factories and saying, "Can you produce this?" Um, so yeah, that is going on. That's the game we're in. You got to be aware of that. So right away at the beginning, make sure that you have an NNN with your factory. That's a non-disclose, non-use, non-circumvent agreement. A typical NDA in the US, that's not going to cut it in China because it's not a matter of them disclosing what the product is. Guys, you're selling your product, you're posting it online. Whether you have an NDA in China or an NDA in the United States, the moment you make that product public out there, you post it publicly, then anyone could talk about it. The NDA is toothless at that moment. So in China, you want an NDA. You also want to have a non-circumvent and a non-use. So it's NNN. The non-use means, well, they're a factory, they're a trading company. How do they use it? They sell it. That's what they use it for. So that prevents them from selling it to your competition. The third N, non-circumvent, that prevents them from selling it to your customers. So you want to make sure that they sign an NNN. So if somebody does find it on Penjiva or send them a sample of your product and says, please reverse engineer this, they have that agreement that says they're not going to do it. Now, this is interesting. In lots of cases, when you are protecting IP, folks who have been doing this for a while will tell you you have to have the commitment to protect it. That means you're going to have resources to go to court and so on. And that's very true, particularly in the United States, because we are such a litigious society here. However, China, their culture is a bit different. They don't want to be the nail that stands up that gets banged down. They don't want to be in court unless they have to. There are, outliers that do. There's some, over the crazy one recently that's got like 20 times that they take everyone to court. But in most cases, they do not want to appear in court. So that NNN by itself is persuasive, saying, hey, if I'm dealing with this one and this guy's got an NNN, it's easier for me to deal with someone else and rip them off who doesn't have an NNN. Have you ever heard the bicycle lock theory, Megla?
No, what is that, Stephen?
So there are really expensive bicycle locks that, nothing can cut through. You can have an earthquake and an asteroid hit them and they're still going to be, your bicycle's going to be locked up. Then there are those that are, so. And yeah, they can be broken or whatever, but it doesn't matter because if you have a bicycle lock that's even moderately good, as long as you don't have a super expensive bicycle, but if you have a bicycle lock that's moderately good and someone's going to come along and steal a bicycle, they're going to steal the bicycle that doesn't have any lock on it. So your lock, even if it's only halfway, protects you because they're going to go for the easiest one. And it's the same thing. If your factory's producing, 22 different variations on whatever it is I had before. Let's do that. Now we'll do a flash drive. 22 variations on a flash drive. They're not going to sell your variation that's protected by an NNN because it's easier for them to sell one that's not. So get an NNN. Don't fret over the fact, I'm going to have to put a whole bunch of money into protecting. So that's number one. Start at the beginning. Next thing I hear a lot about is, oh, patent that, patent that, patent. Patents are expensive and they have certain requirements internationally. Well, most countries um, have the same requirements of it being novel, that means new, and non-obvious. So if let's find something here that's not here we go. So if you have a USB cord and you say, my new thing is I'm going to put a USB-C on this, pretend that's never been done. Everyone has USB-Cs on their phones, their Macs, their computers. Of course, it's an obvious change. So you can't patent it. Patenting is not easy, and it's expensive. China's got a slightly different process than the United States. United States has two patents plus a third type. China has actually three types of patents: invention, design, and utility. Um, US has a patent called a provisional patent. And that's very inexpensive to do, but it doesn't give you any protection. And I'll dig into each one really quickly, but very fast. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice, all those things I'm supposed to say and disclaim. So the idea of just patent, 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 it's not very simple to get a patent. But it is very simple to go on Fiverr and find people who say, give me $800 and I'll file a patent for you in China. So be cautious with that. It's very hard to patent. It still is going to have to go through the patent process. In China, it's going to go through the patent process and then get some evaluators, so on. In the United States, it's going to go through patent process and get reviewed by evaluators before it's awarded. It's expensive. And if you protect yourself with an NN and with a trademark and a couple of tricks I'll tell you in a moment that most people don't know, you may not have to worry about the fact that you can't afford a patent. And you probably, if you're getting something variations that you've discovered through Helium 10 or Zone Guru or Jungle Scout, it's probably not novel or non-obvious anyway. So you wouldn't be able to be successful at the end of that road. So what else can you do though? Oh, here's some simple, practical things. Number one, trademark your brand name. Then, when you create your product, let's say it's being made out of plastic. Here we go, headphones today. So I get to pick up whatever I have around me because I'm in a hotel room. So someplace on these headphones, I see it right here, very tiny. It says "Made in China." So when you have your product and you have to put the country of origin, made in China, on it, if you've got plastic, either emboss or deboss it. That's raised or sunk in little letters. That's solid. They can't be wiped off or anything. If you're having it printed, screen printed or whatever, have it printed, the country of origin, made in China. But add these words. Let's say that your company is Megla Designed. All right? Have it say made in China exclusively for Megla Design. Right on the product. Stamped into it, or embossed and debossed, or hot stamped, screen printed, whatever, made in China exclusively for Megla Design. Because now, if there's product overage, it's not going to walk out in the street and ends up, being sold to somebody, in Hong Kong who's going to put it up on eBay or on Amazon or whatever, because it's always going to say, have your trademark name on it right there. So simple to do. You already have to have it say made in China. Just add those words exclusively for Megla Design, or even better, your own company. But you can say Megla Design if you want. No, have your own company. So right there is a really simple, good way of making sure that you're protected there. And then make sure that your trademark is registered not only in the United States or Australia or Canada where you're selling, also register your trademark in China. It's not that expensive to do. And in this case, yeah, you can find people on Upwork who can do it. Your local attorney, if they have counsel, co-counsel, or they're associated with someone in China, they can recommend, your own business attorney can recommend someone in China to do it for you, because the whole thing has to be filed in Chinese and has to follow their processes. But it's not probably for about $800, you should be able to get it done. You absolutely want it registered in China. Why? Let's say that your headphones become really hot. Everyone wants to buy them. You've placed a couple of orders, and now they're ready to go out, and you're shipping them out, and you get a notice that you can't ship it. Somebody else owns that trademark. And you're saying, what? That's mine. I've been doing it for a long time. Nope, somebody else owns the trademark. Well, first of all, who knows that it's being successful? People in your factory. And it could be Joe, who's the 14th person down the assembly line, but he's got a cousin who files patents on his behalf. It could be someone from your shipping company. It could be a sourcing agent that you use, but somebody who you've dealt with. This is the worst part of this scam. It's someone you've dealt with, knows about your product, knows your trademark, and they filed it in China. And now they've recorded it with customs. Customs is looking for that trademark. When that shows up, customs says we can't ship it out without the approval of the trademark owner. And the trademark owner says, sure, we'll give approval if you give us $4,000, $5,000. And the next shipment the same, another $4,000, $5,000. And it goes on and on. So definitely trademark in China. So before I go
Wow,
into
lots of
are there other questions before
yeah.
we go into more tricks?
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of, comments and questions for all of the different things that you mentioned. So guys, everybody watching, if you have any questions about protecting your IP, NNNs, NDAs, trademarks, Stephen is the person to answer all of those questions. So take this opportunity and ask your questions right now. But so Stephen, trademarking in China, so that prevents, your supplier or anybody else in China to sell that product under your own brand name. But what if they take that product and then they put their own brand name on it? It could be your exclusive design. Let's say it's not patented, but it is your exclusive design. What is really stopping them from taking your design and putting it into a box with their own label on it and then selling it, right? They don't have to necessarily sell it under your brand.
Correct. So first of all, it shouldn't be your factory that's doing it, because you have that NNN. So now if they decide they want to do these headphone or the headphone bands or this, what is this, earbud case, there's an upfront cost because they're going to have to get molds so it matches what you're already doing. So you want to make them, at least suffer a little bit there. And if you can't get it patented or you choose not to get it patented, in most cases you probably won't. There are other things you can do. So you mentioned trademark, and this is a beautiful thing. In the United States, you cannot sell something that looks like something I'm selling. You can't. This is news to so many people on Amazon who look at something, they say, oh, I'm going to make something that looks just like that and sell it. And they look it up, oh, it's not patented, so it's not protected. No, it is protected. There are laws about that. You can't make something that looks like my product and sell it. And there is a section of the trademark law called trade dress. Dress like someone's wearing a dress or a shirt or whatever. I'm not wearing a dress today, I promise you. Trade dress. So if you've got someone making a whole bunch of money off of your design, that was your unique design and no one had that design before, just contact an IP attorney and tell them what happened and tell them you want to pursue a trade dress complaint against them. And what that means is in the United States, somebody cannot sell a product that might be mistaken as someone else's. So Megla is selling this, beautiful, I don't know, it's a sculpture of a whale that lights up and floats around the room. And I make a sculpture of a whale that looks just like hers and it lights up and it floats around the room. And people are coming to me because I'm, $5 less. She can sue me for that. She can file a legal complaint for trade dress because they're thinking it's hers, but they're buying mine. So when somebody copies something, yes, there are legal routes of compensation and how to address it. And that's a big one right there. Amazon is not your only forum for addressing problems, for resolution. Everything that Amazon has in their TOS is there because there are legal things behind it. Well, patent infringement, copyright infringement, trademark infringement, and so on. Those are all they're all legal areas that you can have for making sure that your product is being treated properly. Now, here's an interesting thing. If if I do my products and I call them um, Megala Design or whatever the company was we had for you a moment ago, and I infringe on your trademark, you can sue me for the amount that I receive in every one of those sales. Not the amount that I receive from Amazon after they take out their fees, the amount that customers paid for it. You can sue me for that. Now, people have seen TM for trademark. That's a trademark that's not registered yet. You have the circle R for registered and so on. Guess what happens when you get that circle R? Megala can come after me now, not for everything that people have paid me for products. She can request triple what people paid me for products. So right there are areas for redress that go beyond Amazon. So coming back to your question, Megala, don't do that because I will squish you like a bug.
Right. We also have a question here, Stephen, from Tricia. If you manufacture in India, for example, and you have a trademark in India, should you also trademark in China to be safe?
Trisha, my opinion is absolutely yes, because you've put a lot of thought into this. This is a good product. It's going to be successful. And if somebody is going to rip you off, they're probably going to go to China first. It doesn't hurt to do so. But I'm saying that's my opinion because I'm extremely cautious. Other people may say, no, it's not worth the money and anything else. But yeah, you put a lot of time and effort to it. It's going to be a successful product. Go ahead and do that. Protect yourself.
Right. Guys, let us know if you have any more questions. We are going to start wrapping up over here. So
can I give you two more great hints?
Yes, absolutely.
It comes back to that trademark thing. So I said that you want to make sure that it's registered in China so that somebody else doesn't register it and record it with Chinese customs. You can do the same thing for yourself. Get your trademark and then record it in Chinese customs. So if anybody else does make your product and tries to ship it out, Chinese customs is going to say, nope, that's trademarked. We've got it in our records right here. And if they don't own the trademark, it won't leave the harbor. Well, it shouldn't. It's China. Maybe somebody gives a red envelope and it leaves. But that's the second hint. You can do the same thing with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. It's called e-recordation. You can do it online. Your trademarks in the U.S. is like 10 years. So for the life of your trademark, $190 for the life of your trademark, $19 a year. Best $19 you're ever going to spend. Because now when it comes into the U.S. and it has your trademark on it, if it's yours, great. If it's somebody else, if they slip the red envelope to someone in China and it comes into the U.S. customs will stop it, they'll seize it, and it won't be sold. So you're protecting yourself for $19 a year, $190. That's the best $190 you will ever spend. And this is one of the simplest things you should be doing. Everyone who has a trademark, because you want to register your brand with Amazon, go online, pay $190 and get your trademark recorded with Customs and Border Protection. So simple, so inexpensive, so powerful. That's a given.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so basically what that does is ties that trademark to your company, and another company cannot import products under that trademark, right? Or with
Right.
products that have that trademark.
Right. And what happens is what you're doing is you're actually putting it on the alert list for customs.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if it's Delta Airlines, Delta Faucets, Delta Dental, they're all different classes, and of course they can justify that. But
Yeah.
if it's Megla Design and you're designing, kitchenware, what is that? Is that 23? Whatever the class is, um, no one's going to be able to. If they do bring it in, they won't be able to get it past customs. They won't even get on Amazon because it's going to be stuck at a port someplace and eventually destroyed.
That is a great tip, Stephen. Cool. Is there anything else?
No, that's it. I think we had 3 for 3 tonight.
Yes, we
Well,
had three for three.
we talked about right away. Get a quote for your product now. That's really super important. As you're looking forward to future products, see if, or the products you have right now, see what it takes to get them qualified for the climate for pledge friendly products, and absolutely make sure that you're taking whatever steps you can to protect your IP, including recording it with both Chinese customs and U.S. customs. Um, and these are 3 really simple things to do. It's going to make your 2022 so much better.
Fantastic. Great advice as always, Stephen. So before we sign off, I just want to quickly remind everybody that Global Sources Summit is coming up in February. It's going to be a 2-day summit where we focus on sourcing, logistics, and quality control. We've got over 10 speakers. We're going to be talking about things like inventory management and supply chain optimization, logistics. And Stephen has a very interesting topic, and that is about DDP, why you should never, ever source via on DDP terms from China or any country. So that should be a very, very interesting topic because a lot of Amazon sellers, they think DDP is such an easy payment terms, and they usually go for DDP, especially for their first few orders. So that I'm really looking forward to that session, and that's going to be together with Alan Kobar. So we've got over 10 speakers talking about different topics focused on logistics, sourcing, and quality control, because I think supply chain is just going to be so important in 2022 with everything that's happened over the last 2 years. We're still seeing issues with shipping, with freight, with, still there's lockdowns and supply chain disruptions in China, India. So logistics supply chain is going to be super important, and you must optimize your supply chains in 2022, which is why we're really focusing on these 3 topics: logistics, quality control, and sourcing at the very first Global Sources Summit of 2022.
Can I say
Also,
something, Megla?
yes, go ahead,
If
Stephen.
if you're listening tonight, if you've heard something tonight that you haven't heard before, then you absolutely want to join in and watch the summit because you're going to hear a lot of things you haven't heard before. That's why we do it.
Exactly. And whether you're a new seller, I mean, if you're a new seller, you're going to go like, wow, you're going to have so many aha moments. But even if you're an experienced seller, I mean, I learn every time I talk to Stephen, I learn something new. So even if you're an experienced seller, joining such conferences and listening to experts who are in the trenches, who are really doing this day in and day out, you might find a golden nugget that will really help take your business to the next level or solve a problem that you've been trying to solve and you haven't been able to find the solution. So, and it's free, it's entirely free. So go ahead and register. We're going to have the replays available. So if you can't join live, you can always watch the replays. And, if you join live, you can, of course, engage and interact with the speakers. You can ask your questions, and, the speakers are going to be addressing questions as well. Also, Stephen is going to be hosting a workshop, and this is the third time that Stephen is doing this workshop for Global Sources. It's a China sourcing workshop, and it's held over 2 days where Stephen really goes in depth into how to source from China, how to vet suppliers, negotiating. That's one of my favorite topics that you cover at the workshop, Stephen. And I really love how you do the role plays with everybody. That's absolutely amazing. So the workshop is coming up in March. Stay tuned. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, and you'll soon receive a link to register for the workshop. Of course, that's not a free workshop. That's a paid one because there's a ton of value in that workshop. All right, Stephen, anything else to add before we sign off?
I think we got some good action items, and hopefully everyone will, start doing that. They'll immediately contact their suppliers. They will start protecting their IP. They will look at being climate friendly products, and on top of all of it, they just might buy outfits for their chickens.
Yes, if you didn't learn anything from this session, if you just go buy an outfit for your chicken, I think
The chickens feel
time.
better. They strut around and dressed up, little hats and stuff like that. Why not?
I'm gonna go Google that right after we finish.
There we go.
Awesome. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure catching up with you, chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. And you have a good workshop tomorrow, and you're
Yeah.
going to a fair as well. I'm so jealous. You're going to a fair. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's more than just a fair. I've got to tell you, you have to come
Yeah.
visit. When travel opens up again, your mind is going to be blown. Everyone knows about sourcing in China, the global sources event, the what's that one up in Guangzhou? They have one up there too, twice a
Yeah.
year.
I don't know.
And but that's where products originate. That's the beginning of it. How do they get sold? Well, there are also twice a year events here in the United States. We're here in Las Vegas. There is a complex that's right out there, four big buildings that they built an entire complex just to get stuff onto retailer shelves. Same thing in Atlanta, and it's the other side of that process people are unaware of. And it's just as mind boggling when people first enter it, just like going to China or coming here to these complexes, these marts. So I'm super excited. It's going to be a very fun few days here.
Yeah. And I think another opportunity that people don't realize they have is that if they have built a brand, whether sourcing from China, India, wherever, they can actually set up a stall in one of these fairs and try to find distributors for their brand, right? Or
Yes, you
retailers.
can.
Because,
They can do temp. They can do the temps instead of themselves, or they can
yeah,
actually have agencies who sell your stuff and have sales forces that go out and sell on behalf of you. So you can be halfway around the world and have 100 energetic people out there calling on independent stores and saying, "Hey, we've got this great new eco-friendly um, cell phone charger, uh, or anything else you're doing."
fantastic. Well, wish you all the very best, Stephen, and I will talk to you soon. Take
All
care.
right, take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.